Hi guys, Sam from Hot Mess Homeschool Mom. Welcome back. So today I wanted to touch a little bit on organization. Especially as a hot mess mom, I struggled with this. I have always been kind of a little not organized, just in life in general. When my kids were in school, I was the mom who would return permission slips back late. I just always felt like I had a million things going on, and I really did not have a great system for keeping myself together. I was a working mom. I worked, 50 plus hours a week. Oh, that's my dog. So I worked. My kids were in school. We had a lot of activities going on, and I somehow could not just keep it together. I was always forgetting something. I always felt like I was forgetting something, and you would think that I would have put a system in place then to kind of keep it together, but you live and you learn. So once I started homeschooling and that intense pressure of, oh my gosh, not only do I need to keep these kids alive, but now their entire education is now resting on my shoulders as well. I really realized I needed to kind of get my act together. And it's not completely together yet, so let's not get excited. But I did get a nice little system in place after trial and error. And again, there are some really awesome resources out there, and Pam Barnhill has some awesome organizational tips and tools, and really a lot of the homeschool bloggers have some really cool stuff that you can go check out. I did avail myself to bits and pieces of each to kind of put my system or attempt to put my system in order. Some of them worked, some of them didn't, but I found something that worked for me. Really simple, because if it's not simple, I can't do it. That's a lie, but if it's not simple, it's not something I want to stick with, because really it's just one more thing I have to organize, and that's kind of, not the entire point of organizing yourself, is to have more stuff to organize. So what I found, really simple, and it really kind of kept my homeschool not only organized, but kind of gave me a really clear picture of where I was, where I wanted to be, things we needed to work on, things that we had accomplished, and just kind of made me feel really good about the choices I had made thus far, and also kind of pinpointed things I needed to work on. So going back to the SWOT analysis one of the only things I retained from college, other than the Greek alphabet backwards and forwards, which was a really cool trick for my kids when we were doing Greek. They were really impressed by that. But anyway, I digress. One of the things I remember from college that really stuck with me was a SWOT analysis, which is strengths, opportunities. I think I did that out of order. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you're supposed to do it in a grid system, but I really just kind of throughout the year, because we are year-round homeschoolers, throughout the year I would periodically take a professional development day and kind of let my kids have a free day, and then really sit and organize myself, and that really worked well. So periodically I would do a SWOT analysis on my homeschool. And I would do that probably quarterly, or when I internally felt like something was missing, or things just didn't feel like they were flowing, I would sit down and do a SWOT on what was working, what wasn't working, what I wanted to add, and maybe some things, not necessarily that were threats. I mean, I labeled it as such in my notebook, but things I really, really wanted to focus on that I think, somehow didn't make their way into the daily routine, such as my son learning how to tie his shoes. Whoops, missed that. So there were that was a fun one. I'm like, oh, that's a life skill he should probably have. So that was one really cool thing that that has helped me, and I hope it helps you too. It just kind of organizes your thoughts, the millions of swirling thoughts that are going on in your head at all times as a homeschooling mom, putting them down on paper and kind of organizing them as such, kind of gives you some stuff to work on, and also kind of reinforces your kids are learning. When you can check off the box that Lovey finished 3 levels of math, it kind of is like, okay, we're making progress. It may not feel like it in the day to day of getting through sometimes really tough days, but we are making progress and they are learning. So SWOT analysis is huge. Another thing, which I'm going to pull out really quick. So like I said, there are some really cool things online as to like organization tips, not organization tips, schedules for your day. So again, as a homeschooler, you have many different options. If you are an unschooler, you have no schedule. If you are a really strict homeschool mom, you have a very detailed schedule as to what is being done at what time. We tried both. Neither worked for us. So I had to hybrid them as to what would work for my kids. One thing is I learned that my daughter is also not a morning person, just like me. I am not a morning person. I function much better in the later part of the morning or / afternoon. That is when I am at my best. And it is also when she is at her best. And I learned through trial and error that neither of us are very pleasant people in the morning, and there was no learning getting done. There was a lot of not learning getting done because it wasn't our peak. So we adjusted, and I had to let go initially of we're going to do math from 8 to 9. That may work for you. If it works for you, stick with it. Whatever is working for you and your family, whether it works for anybody else, doesn't matter. If it works for you, then continue doing it. If it doesn't work for you, let it go, which is what I had to learn to do. I had to learn to let go of the rigid schedule. So I now let my daughter sleep in, and I get a little bit of slack, not necessarily slack, but people are like, oh, you let your daughter sleep in? When do you do school? And whatever. But when she wakes up on her own, without any prompting, she is extraordinarily pleasant, and the day goes so much smoother. So sometimes my homeschool starts at 9 o'clock. Sometimes it starts at 11 o'clock. We get to everything we need to get to, surprisingly, better on the days we start later. So back to the hybrid. The most simplistic thing I have found, and again, it's gonna be backwards to you, but this is my thing. This is what I do. I do keep track of the days of actual schooling that we're doing. Not because I need to. If you are in a state where you need to keep track of your homeschooling hours, by all means, this is fantastic to do so. I just do it for me because it makes me feel better knowing, my kids are getting a certain number of days of learning in each year. So simple, but it works. I do whatever we're doing in math, by subject, what each child is doing. And as we get through them, I check them off. There is no order to it. I will ask the kids what they feel like doing next. There's a certain number of things we are going to get to today, and however they choose to get through their work is how we get through our day. And as we do them, we check them off. Now let me show you. So some days we don't always get it to everything, and that's okay as well. If we don't get to it, I simply circle it and we move it to the next day. How I know something is not working, or that neither of my kids are engaged, or I'm not engaged and it is not a good fit for us, is I will see this circle follow a few days in a row, and that's when I know, you know what, I need to reevaluate that, and that will go on my SWOT analysis. Is this something I need to be doing right now? Is this something I can pick up on later? Is this something we really even need to do at all? I gotta be honest, we were doing history pockets for a while. We did them, I think we did a colonial unit and a Revolutionary War unit. I loved them. They were fantastic. Very knowledgeable, great information. They were supposed to be really fun. What I found was the amount of work, again, because they're crafty and it's not my thing, the amount of work necessary to do them, it made me dread it. And my kids dreaded it. And, you know, we got through it because it was in the beginning part of my homeschool journey, and I had a hard time letting go of things. But I did learn that we will not be doing history pockets anymore because they didn't work for us. None of us liked it. And if you're not really enjoying something, you're probably not going to retain it. So that is a key indication to me day to day. If things are getting circled multiple times and we're not getting to them, then it's time to reevaluate. So I do this daily. I am on now notebook like number 6. I don't even know, but they go, I label them by date. This happens to be book 3, I guess. I don't know. So I just kind of pulled one out to show you. But you know, I keep these notebooks. Again, not because I have to, not because the state requires it, but because it's kind of a journal for me, and I can see what we've done, and really it just makes me feel good. I'm like, oh, we got a lot done today. That's awesome. So then I do that. So then, occasionally, usually, typically, when I'm doing my SWOT analysis, I will then transfer it to my Happy Planner. I am going to do an entire another video of Happy Planner because Happy Planners are amazing, and I cannot say enough about them. They make these teacher ones, and I'm now on obviously my second year, so I'm on my second one. This is from my first year, and I'm gonna do another video and just kind of show you what they look like inside, but I will just a quick glance at a day. Give me a minute. Get there. Okay, so then I would then transfer what we did that day, what we actually did that day, not what was circled, what was accomplished in my Happy Planner, and I would do it by subject, and then if we didn't get to a subject, I would just cross it out. So again, another key indication to me of something I need to work on in my SWOT analysis. If I'm seeing that we are skipping, I don't know, I'm just gonna pick one, history, day to day to day, maybe I should incorporate something with history or science or whatever it is that I have multiple, you know, crosses through. So that is my simple, very simple diary / lesson book. I only lesson plan one day at a time. I know some people that plan out their entire year. And like I said, if that works for you, that is awesome. It doesn't work for me. I literally will lesson plan the morning of or the night before, whatever. And that's worked for me. So again, that's kind of my simple organization. Very simple, very easy. You kind of get a record of what you've done, what you need to do. So I do 2 things. I do one notebook, and then periodically I will then transfer it into my Happy Planner And when the year is done, I have a nice little on-the-shelf record of everything my children have done for that year. So again, thank you for checking out this video. Please like, subscribe. Please check out hotmesshomeschoolmom.com. All of my social media is on there. And I'm going to follow this up with a happy planner video so you guys can see the guts of the happy planner and why I love it so much. Thanks, and see you later.